Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We rented movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained as pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the favorite bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey.
What about prom?
Come on, why don't we just meet after school?
No! What about prom?
Andie, come on.
Just say it.
What?
Just say it. I want to hear you say it.
Andie, please, all right?
I want to hear you say it.
A month ago, I asked somebody else and I forgot.
You're a liar! You're a filthy fucking no-go liar! You didn't have the guts to tell me the truth! Just say it!
I'm not lying.
Tell me!
What?
Tell me!
What do you want to hear?
Just tell me!
What?
You're ashamed to be seen with
No,
me.
I am
You're
not.
ashamed
I am
to go
not.
out with me. You're afraid.
No,
You're terrified. Your goddamn rich friends want to prove. Just say it. Just tell me the truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Santa's podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about their favorite flicks from childhood. I'm Sweetie with a Y.
And I'm Sweetie with an IE.
And tonight we went back into the murky waters of John Hughes-ish movies. I say ish because this particular movie, Sweetie, he did not direct it.
Yeah, I didn't know that until today. For some reason, I thought let's go over the canon real quick of John Hughes. Ready? Weird Science.
Okay.
16 Candles.
Sure.
Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty in Pink.
Nope.
But that he's known for. And I'd say Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I feel like there's one missing.
Is there?
St. Elmo's Fire.
He did that, did he?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
Maybe
I
I'm
think
thinking
that's
of
it.
the Brat Pack.
I think that's it. But you're right. He didn't direct this one, which totally makes sense because it has a totally different feel to it. And honestly, I think this is the one, John Hughes movie I like the most. It feels more like a real movie and not like some winky-dink wackiness that's like all the other ones.
Wait,
you know?
isn't Uncle Buck a John Hughes movie?
Oh, yeah, it is. Good call.
I mean, that's your real favorite.
but,
But you mean of the teen ones?
Of the teen ones, yeah.
Yeah. This was another one I think that you and Liz often watched. And I
Always
would
on the UPN network, I'm telling you.
And I would trickle in and be like, what's this older kid movie? And then watch it and be like, I don't get it.
And I would trickle in and be like, why are the kids in high school wearing white blazers? The kid in 80s high school?
Always so confused
First
about
of all,
that.
Another reason why this is very not John Hughesy. Because again, he didn't direct it, but does not take place in a suburb of Chicago.
That we know of.
Yeah.
I mean, they show a
this feels
city
very
landscape.
LA, though, to me, right?
Well, they are tan. Why are the yuppies so tan?
Yeah, they're tan. It's nice weather. They have, I don't know, that sort of punky scene that goes on there feels very LA to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get the Midwestern vibe. And also because these, I said, these yuppie kids. I don't think there's really that many yuppie kids. There's rich jocks and stuff in the other ones, but this one has such a yuppie feel. And all those kids feel like they're 35 and in investment bankers.
Yeah, it's weird,
bizarre. And I'm whose world is this?
I know. And with the exception of Molly Ringwald's dad, there's no other parents in this movie.
Right.
And you're like, what? And there's one part where James Spader's in an office and rolling a joint or something. He's in his house in the study. Yeah. What's happening there? I don't know. I have a lot of questions. Yeah. But, so I definitely saw parts of this. I saw the dress part. I could not understand for the life of me when I was little why she was cutting up a perfectly nice dress and then making an uglier dress out of it. It just really blew my mind. Even when I was little and I didn't really have a sense of style. Mind. I just knew that other dress was so much better and so many problems. But that's really all I remembered. And then I saw it tonight and that's it.
Yeah. I, as Sweetie said, saw it a bunch of times on TV. Felt really it was just not relatable to me at all because no one's high school. I don't think it was really like that. And but with time, you know, John Hughes movies have not aged that well. You know, we've done Ferris Bueller's now. We've done Breakfast Club, which are a little more, much more John Hughesy in his kind of sense when you watch all those movies. But they haven't aged well, right? Like, we've yet to do 16 Candles, but that is like one of the most racist movies like on the planet. This one doesn't really have any of those issues, which is awesome, right? Like, it's not...
there's like a lot of Asian cultural appropriation happening that I'm like not sure about.
Right. So that I was kind of like that too.
And
like,
then
that was weird.
Duckie has like a weird black person voice at one point when he's like trying not to fight with people. So like it's definitely still there.
Some stuff. And the F word, they use the F word.
Yes.
But I think of all the John Hughes movies, like much less, let's say. But the thing that always got me, even when I was a little girl, was the ending of this movie. Even as a 6-year-old, was like, this does not make sense. The way that they build that Andie character and what she's like and who she would be interested in. I mean, sure, Blaine's cute, but like, you don't get any sense that the guy really has like any substance at all. Like, they seem to really like each other. You don't even really know why. He does that like one thing in the computer lab that she's like really impressed with for some reason.
I was impressed by it.
Yeah.
I still don't think we can do that today with today's technology.
Yeah,
so.
that was crazy. But it does not fit to me that like she would just at the end be like, because he's like, I love you, even though they dated like a month. And then even though Duckie tells her like she can go, that she would just like forgive all that and be with him. I don't know. It's just weird to me. I've always hated the ending and the ugly pink dress more than anything. But I will say, I'm not a huge Molly Ringwald fan. She kind of bugs me. This is my favorite character of hers that she's done. She's like pretty relatable and down to earth. And sorry, losing my voice. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, I find her to be a lot less annoying. And I decided during watching this that I think the reason I don't like Molly Ringwald is when her voice gets really high when she's angry. And she's like, okay, I can't, I'm yelling and I don't know how. Like, it's like so upsetting to me. And so it makes sense of like why. I think that's why I don't like her. It's just, it's bad. But she is definitely the most likable. This is her most likable character, I think, because she's like this, supposed to be like cool.
Actually, like this movie the best out of all.
Molly, the actress.
Yeah, she did, and she had like, so at this point, I think, so this was 1986. I don't know like what order is this in like all the John Hughes movies, but she had like, I guess was already like a megastar by this point, and had like all this like reign about this movie. Okay, so basically, she was like, "Hey,
all
John,
this what about this movie?
Free reign, like, yeah." So she's being buddies with John Hughes at this point. Like she's his muse. And so she's like, hey, John Hughes, I really like this song called Pretty in Pink by Psychedelic Furs. Cool name for a band. And she's like, you should write a movie about that. So he wrote this movie basically from like her prompting. And then had like, so she was obviously going to be the star, and then like could choose basically who her co-star was going to be. So like they brought Andrew McCarthy in, and she was like, and they were like, like he kind of seems like a wimp, and he's like too meek and mild, as I like to say, which he totally is in this. And I'm like, exactly.
That's what they said or what you said?
I
okay, because I was like, that is what you were saying the whole time.
God, I hate guys like that. I know they're supposed to be like this, like, they're like hidden and great. Well, they just seem like giant babies. I'm saying.
Never going to be able to not look at him and be like, Weekend at Bernie's, Dodo head.
Right, and that was a huge character change for Andrew McCarthy, because I feel like he's meek and mild in a lot of things, and that was really great. But where was I going with this? Okay, so then John Hughes and whoever the director was like, yeah, like that guy's a drip. Like, no thanks. And then Molly Ringwald was like, well, I feel like that's someone who I would like actually really have a crush on. Like basically kind of how he looks like and how he was like sensitive and like moody or something. So she basically got him chosen for the role, Andrew McCarthy.
Interesting. It's not about who she would like. It's about the character.
I guess how she was going to play Andie. But for how Andie is, it just did not make sense that she would like somebody like that. She was too deep. She was an old soul.
She clearly was, because she dressed like an 80-year-old woman. But like she they just didn't have enough of a relationship.
No.
I can't look at the relationship and be like, it makes sense why they're in love.
Because what did
doesn't
they
make
actually
any sense
do?
at all.
They made out in front of a car.
Yeah.
They went to a bad house party.
Check.
And
For
then
like a second.
and they cuddled in some horse stables, and that was it.
Yeah. I think the hail days was like, the bales of hay were like the turning point in the relationship when things like really got serious because they were having heart-to-hearts. But I don't know. First of all, okay, I mean, we'll talk about it in the plot. We're getting
ahead of
we're getting
ourselves.
crazy. But oh man, guys, oh man. Okay, let's should we
start
do
it
it? Okay,
Let's, as Duckie would say, let's plow. Weird expression.
Yeah.
Duckman.
I don't know if it meant like sex. Then I think she's getting plowed. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what
that's what I
think of. Yeah.
Let's plow.
Okay.
It's time for the sweetie synopsis. Yeah.
Sweeties.
I just want them to know that they didn't break me. Ooh. I do like that line.
Yeah, it's cool. Andie, what's her last name, sweetie? We don't know.
No last name that we know of.
No last name that we know of. Is an 18-year-old high school senior who has an unhealthy obsession with the color pink and florals. Wow. I have never seen so many florals
And old lady clothes.
in my life. Well, I mean, like, that kind of goes hand in hand because, like, she's putting the florals. Yes.
Okay, so she makes all her clothes, right?
Correct.
Is she like using her mom's wardrobe because her mother left and that's why they're old lady clothes?
Why was her mom such an old lady? Why was she so old?
You're right. She probably wasn't that old.
But I mean, no. That's a good theory. I think that's a really good theory. But like, literally, like her bed is floral. Like the headboard has floral on it. Her like bedspread's got flowers. She has flowers all over her room.
She almost always wears floral print,
Yeah,
right?
I know. It looks like a funeral parlor in her room because there's flowers everywhere.
You know what? As a girl who also likes florals,
I know, but
I can like condone it a little, but you can't go overboard with
it's
that
too
stuff
much.
because you start looking like wallpaper.
Yes, it's way it's so bad. And she like mixes the florals, and she's like a floral print on her hat and her clothes.
There's just a lot going on with her style. You know, simplicity is not necessarily like her jam.
So she's
There's a lot of lace. There's a lot of hats. There's a lot of earrings. There's a lot of
Too much
bracelets.
lace.
There's a lot of tights. There's a lot of boots. And it is too monochrome or floral.
Yeah.
It's either all pink or floral.
Ugh.
Anyway.
And like the worst kind of pink, the like Pepto-Bismol pink. Yeah, so she's like alternative. She works at a cool record store called Trax. She eats lunch with all like the cool kids, cool quote unquote, like, you know, what is that hairstyle where like all the hair sticks out like that, like
Flock of
spikes?
seagulls?
I don't.
A
It's,
bad flock of seagulls.
yeah,
Like that.
but these are like punky spikes,
Yeah.
like spike punks. I don't know.
And
It's-
single earrings in one ear.
Right. And
A lot of black.
Yep. A lot of smoking, a lot of like
Lot of rings.
black and being like moody, wearing those John Lennon glasses.
Was
and being
smoking
like,
really
"Oh."
allowed in school like that? What was up with that?
I mean,
you were 18,
You're
you could smoke,
You could
yeah.
smoke in places in the 80s. So I don't know.
that's true,
Who
that's true.
fucking knows what they did then? Who knows, guys? Yeah. So Andie's got a BFF named Duckie. Real name, Phil?
Philip, I think.
Philip Duckie. I think he's gay, but I guess he's not because, well, as far as he knows. Well, no, I won't say that. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with his sexuality, who he identifies as. I don't want to make judgments, but to me, it seems like he's her gay best friend.
Yeah.
But he's obsessed with Andie, and he's trying to tell her that he loves her is like his main shtick.
They've been friends for like 8 years.
Yeah, like since childhood. So Andie one day sets eyes on Blaine, the hair and beauty school. Just
Blaine Hair and Beauty School. Start at the top.
Wow.
Blaine.
I didn't know that was the Blaine song. I only know the last part of the end. But so Blaine, does he just like see her? Who sees who first? I forget. No, I don't know.
She sees him.
Like, how do these things start?
There's like a smile exchange.
This is why-
And then the computer lab thing happens.
This is why it's like hard for me. When I was little, it was like, okay, it's gonna be easy to get a boyfriend because someone's just gonna like smile at me one day,
Yes.
and then he's gonna like come where I work and ask me out. But no, that was not the case. John Hughes really set people up for failure.
Yes.
I think it's just, let's get that out of the way. Anyway, so there's like this romance happening here. So he asks her on a date. They go on a date. Duckie's crushed because he's in love with her. There's this other dickhead named Steph, future rapist, who is like, first of all, is played by James Spader, who is like the littlest piece of shit in
like
the world.
The best at that role. Like that kind of man, I feel like.
I know.
It's
and like
so perfect.
He's just like such a little penis.
He has a face you just want to punch.
Yes.
It's awesome.
But he's had a real resurgence, so I give him props, you know, for turning it around. I guess
With
you can't.
the blacklist?
Well, I just feel like people like him now, and he's like.
wasn't he on Boston Legal or Public or one of those two? And
I think
like,
so.
He was a good guy in that. Yeah.
Oh, maybe. But yeah, he's really. I guess he's come around. I don't know. I still think he's
Between
pretty
this
scummy.
and Baby Boom.
Oh my god,
Dang.
Baby Boom! Yes, little pisher. Hate him. Okay, so he's like in the mix because he's Blaine's best friend, and he actually had a thing for Andie, but she like said no to him, and he got all upset. Hence, future.
If I can't have her, nobody can.
Like yikes. So he makes it his mission to like knock her down a few pegs in Blaine's eyes, which is like such a dick because he's a dick. Anyway, so they're dating, but you know it's complicated. You know why?
He's rich and she isn't.
Oh my god, yes. You're so smart. It's a class thing. It's a class thing.
Which is like, is that a thing?
In the 80s, sure.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Jefferson's moving on up. Like, it's like...
Ooh, Karate Kid.
Right.
Kind of similar plot.
Exactly. This is... And some people, I'm sure... And people
The country club sex.
say that... I mean, there's still a problem with that, and people just don't want to admit it. But, like... Yeah, his thing... He doesn't... Okay. You help me out here, because, like... I'm still confused
Somebody's
how
stumped.
this happened.
Okay. So, ask her on a
Things
date.
were going fine.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, they go on this date, like Sweetie said, and he takes her to this, like, shitty party. And, like, he's such a loser because it's like, okay, first date. Like, let me take you to a party with my friends so we can, like, really get to know each other.
That's what he knows how to do.
Yeah. I mean, he's just, like, basically, like, this, like, rich person lemming and, like, just does what all the other rich people do, right? Like, the guy has no personality. Again, you're like, why does she like him? Because he's cute for like a hot 2 seconds in the library. Like, that's literally why she goes out with him. So they go to this party and like all his like bitchy little friends are there and they're being like assholes to her. So then they leave and then she has this whole exchange where she doesn't want to drive him. You know, he apologizes and he's like, I'll drive you home. And she's like, I don't want you to drive me home. Basically like flips out at him. And she finally has to tell him, I don't want you to drive me home because I don't want you to see where I live. And it's like not like he thought, let's be honest, that she had any money at all. Like, would he be shocked if he like pulled up to her house and it was a shit box? I don't think so.
She's supposed to be dirt poor. It's not like she lives in a shack.
Yeah, the house is fine. I mean, it's like run down. It might need a paint job, but it's like not like a trailer.
Right. They have a nice dog.
Yeah,
Like, give me a break.
She's a nice room. I mean, I'd take a guy in there.
Yeah.
It was a cute room. She
Sure.
liked a lot of good stuff.
Sure.
Too much floral, but a lot of nice stuff.
Way too much floral.
So he's basically, he does drive her home though, and then
Yeah.
they do have a very
smooch.
good smooch in front of the
Right.
car, pretty romantic. And then she comes in the house and she's like, ah, love that part because I think every girl can relate. And like, you know, there's nothing like a high school crush. I'll tell you that. And if any of my high school crushes had ever come to fruition, they did not. I would have acted that same way. I can't imagine how exciting that must be
I know.
to like somebody and then have someone kiss you. I don't even know what that's like.
I know.
Crazy.
I know.
So then they start hanging out. I presume that they have a lot of phone calls and everything like that. At this point, her and Duckie have parted ways a little bit because he's pissed that she's dating him because they make fun of those kids all the time. And it's basically like she is a hypocrite. But Blaine's different.
But really, it's because he likes her and
really, because
she's going out.
right. Part of it is that, but mostly it's because that
okay.
he likes her. So they keep hanging out, and then they have this. Oh, and then he goes over to Steph's house, and Steph's like, you know what? I always thought he was taking cocaine. Turns out he was just rolling a joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason when I was little, I thought it was cocaine. That's interesting.
He's got like a wrapper thing. It looked like a little bit like a thing you sniff it, you know, you snort it with.
Yeah, I guess maybe I didn't know what cocaine was. I mean, I was like 6, so.
Well, yuppies and cocaine,
That's what I
go
know,
together
I know.
hand in hand.
So basically, Steph lays it down. Like, dude, you can't date her. She's garbage. Your parents aren't going to like it. This is what you can't do. And, like, I don't know why he's friends with Steph because they don't seem to have a good rapport. He's always like, hey, Steph. Like, he's not into his friend. He's not, I don't know.
Because he's
into any of his
supposed to
friends.
be. It's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, she's like supposed to be friends with these people because she's so popular. I don't
makes
know.
sense.
I
That
think
makes
she's
sense.
like stuck in it. But I have a better question. What is Steph's real name? Steven? And they call him Steph?
Stefan.
Like, what's happening?
It might just be Steph.
Stefan.
Yeah. But you know, like rich people do that. They're just like, here's a douchey name for you that we just made up. Steph.
No, it's gotta be short for something. I don't know. Anyways, go on.
Okay, so so he convinces him, even though he's having a great time with Andie, to like dump Andie, which are like, what the fuck just happened? But they still go on a date. So then they go on this like awkward date to the country club horse stalls. Like, what the fuck kind of a date is that, first of all? And there's a horse blanket, and they're laying like in the hay, sort of like lightly smooching, and he's like, I don't even remember like what happened there.
I know, that's why I'm like, what happened?
Was he being standoffish?
I don't think so. I thought it was a nice little thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's
ghosting her.
Yeah. He's not picking up the phone.
Yeah.
It's like bullshit.
And they already made plans to go to prom, so she's excited about that, but knows things are like kind of up in the air. She waits for him in the parking lot. She waits for him by her locker. I mean, bitch is getting ghosted. And, you know, this was way before ghosting. And the funny thing is that you really couldn't ghost because, like, you went to high school with each other. So, like, he knows he, like, couldn't get away with it. Mm-hmm. So he comes out of his biology class or whatever, and she's, like, standing by her locker with the worst fucking look on her face. So good for you for just, like, waiting outside locker and being, like, and confronting it. That's what I love about her character, is that she like wasn't scared of anything. She like confronted all those people, whether it was the bitchy blonde girls, whether it was Steph by the car in the beginning. Mm-hmm. You know, she really did like never let anyone break her until she fell for this guy, right? So what happens at the locker scene?
So then she's like, just admit it. You don't want to date me because I'm poor and you're rich. Wah. And then he's like, no, it's not true. No. And then cry. And then she runs away. And then
she like pounded the locker. She like she would like hit the locker by his head.
Did? No, she didn't. Okay, rewrite.
Yeah.
Submit it. See what happens. But yeah, and then like Blaine's like, I told you she was nothing. And Duckie's like, I want to fuck you up. And he like gets in a fight with Steph. It's crazy. So anyways, Andie's crushed. But you know what? She's still gonna go to the prom.
Fuck yeah.
Because she doesn't want them to see her, that they broke her.
Right.
Or whatever you said so eloquently. Yeah. And so she asks her friend if she can borrow her prom dress. Doesn't say, hi, I'm going to cut up your prom dress and use it for another dress. As far as her friend... I don't know what her name is. But as far as she knew...
She loved that prom dress.
Right. There's a whole scene about how much she loved it.
That's Ayana.
And then... And she doesn't say, like, can I use it? She's like, can I have it? Like, I want to wear it to the prom, you would assume. I am so, like, appalled by that behavior. I just can't get over it. That she would just take that dress without revealing her true intentions. Yeah. It really upsets me.
It's a bad friend.
Anyway, so she shakes that dress and like another dress that her dad found for her at the thrift store and like cuts them up and makes an ugly as fuck dress. It's like a potato. It's like a pink polka dot potato sack with a turtleneck. It's like,
okay, my favorite thing about that scene, first of all, is that they do like cool designer scene, and she like pulls out her sketch pad and it's like, let me draw the silhouette, and it's like. Boop,
it's like a child drawing.
It's like a crayon. It looks like if someone was going to draw a picture of a crayon. It's like straight up like a tube, and then she makes like a V-neck. It's just like so geometric. It's looking ugly as fuck. And when it comes together, you're like, okay, that's still as ugly as fuck. And like the worst part about it is that like, okay, great thing, right? You're like, you know what? I'm going to show all these people. I got stood up for prom, but I'm going to look so hot. And then you're like, let me roll in with this pink sack. No, why wasn't it a cuter dress?
Because it was her style. I don't know. I just, it was true to her, I guess, even though she wasn't true to herself for continuing to date this loser. But whatever. So she goes to the prom and she's like trying to walk in, but she's too nervous. She's all by herself. She doesn't want to do it. But then she sees Duckie at the top of the stairs, and he walks her in, and she feels okay. And then stupid Blaine sees her and is like,
it's Blaine in a wig.
Wow, she looks so hot in that polka dot sack. And then goes over and is like, I just wasn't strong enough to love you. I'm sorry. And he tells her he loves her, which is like total BS.
You were wrong. I always believed in you. I just never believed in
Like, what do you mean believed in? Believe that I was like not more than a poor person?
Yeah.
Like, what?
But then he says, I love you, which is like, fuck you, dude.
Slow down.
Because, you know, that's the way to get to any girl's heart. Let's be real. And that just makes her crumble. And it sucks because he sucks. And you're like, this shouldn't change your mind.
Yeah.
You should have been like, well, buddy, you snooze, you lose. I'm going to dance with my good friend Duckie here and have a great night. And you can go home and drink coffee in your bed and your like white blazers and like do whatever the fuck else you do. Sit in your horse stables and like whatever. No, that's not what happens, is it?
Nope. She's like, oh, I love you too. And then they like go kiss in the parking lot.
First Duckie is like,
oh yeah, you go.
I don't think she would have done it if Duckie didn't like kind of tell her she could, because I think she did feel
she
like
could.
Not that she could,
like
but
she should.
Yeah. Because it's like such a romantic moment, and like, he came here by himself, so it's not like he had another date. Oh, great! Like, wow, like man of the year.
I don't know. He probably finally realized he was gay and was like, okay. This makes sense. I don't know.
And I think he finally realized that she didn't have feelings for him. That the feelings really weren't reciprocated.
It's confusing. I don't blame her for being confused. I thought he was her gay best friend.
Yeah.
So what do I know?
We all did.
So happy ending. La la la. Did they make it? Probably not. They're about to graduate from high school.
Who dates at the end of senior year?
She's gonna get like a scholarship somewhere. He's gonna go somewhere like rich and fancy.
Wouldn't she have already gotten a scholarship? She's a senior in high school.
Yeah, what? That was bullshit. I don't know. I hope it's not to fashion design, because
I was just saying that.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work out.
Thing like I don't think she was that good at fashion design. I mean, it was just kind of kooky, and she was just like sewing like lace collars on sweaters. I mean, I don't know.
It wasn't good.
I'm sorry, I don't believe your talent. I think she's smart in other areas, and she should not go to FIT.
Did she say she was going to FIT?
No, I did.
What about Tisch?
They have a fashion school?
Oh, no, sorry. The new school.
Yeah. I just think of FIT. Fashion Institute of Technology.
That's where Lauren Conrad went.
But, yeah. Still really like this movie, though. I don't know. It's like a great...
I'm not happy about it.
A great 80s time capsule, for sure.
Yeah.
The ending is fucked up, and I hate it more than anything. Let me tell you my ending thing. Remember, I was going to save it for the podcast.
But then didn't I make you tell it to me like after anyways because I was confused?
No. Ready? Okay. Here's the deal with the ending, guys. A lot of people had problems with this ending. You know who had a problem with this ending?
John Hughes.
John fucking Hughes. Yes. He was pissed, but he wanted her to end up with Duckie, which I think is not a good thing. Also, because I feel like that's like, I mean, he gets a little friend zones in this, right? And I hate that word and that saying. I've talked about that before. But he deals with it like really well, right? I think he just comes to terms that, okay, like I think I only like her as a friend too. You know, I think he really cared about her, was just like confused because he never really cared about anybody else.
But I feel like to get friend zone, you have to like try to make it romantic.
That's true.
Like, I don't think he tried very hard to be like, I love you. Like, I still think at the end she had no clue that he was in love with her.
Yeah. I mean,
even though her friend was like, be gentle with him, he's like upset. I think she thought it was because she wasn't hanging out as much with him because they're friends.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he was like so outlandish with everyone else. It's interesting that he like didn't try anything, but I think because he respected her so much. Anyway, so John Hughes was like fucking pissed. But what happened was they because the original ending was she was supposed to end up with Duckie. They did a test screening and it ranked very poorly with the audience members. They wanted her to end up with Blaine. So then they did this. They brought everyone back. They did a reshoot of the ending so that she ended up with Blaine, which is like bullshit. Hate it. And that's why he has a wig on.
Okay. First of all, the reason it failed at the test screening is because nobody bought it because they were like, he's gay. Like, it's, I think if we did this, if he didn't play that character so flamboyantly and like that, I feel like I would have loved an ending where she ended up with her best friend.
But that was like also a type of guy in the 80s who was like kind of that alternative kind of styling of guys.
Are you going to say Boy like George that? Because he was gay?
Right, he was gay, but I think there was in some ways that kind of a guy that was like who like was a little sensitive, had like a lot of girlfriends. I don't know. You're just
spitballing.
I think that was reinforced in movies, and again, I think you're right. I think most of the times that they were gay, but like gay still wasn't really an acceptable thing, so that they had these like these men that were friends, and then tried to make them into like romantic leads or something.
I don't know, but here's what. Well, are you done? Or is there more?
Yeah, that's my deal with the
ending. Oh, okay. it's not really weird. It was like the true story.
The
about
true
the end.
story. The true Hollywood story. 6 pretty in pink. Pretty, not pretty in pink.
Prank. You're a prank. Okay, here's my problem. Here's my issue, though, is that like I still think that the message of this movie is very problematic because it's like all these fucking bullshit things that are like, you can't be you. You have to change to be in love with someone or whatever.
But she didn't change.
No, but like I think that like being in a relationship with him like went against her like being, I don't know. I didn't buy it. And well, I think the worser offender is the Annie Potts character, who is so cool and such an individual, and then meets this Terrence, who's like a giant head
Terry.
and smile, which like okay is good for like a couple like romps in the sack, but we're not gonna get married here. But all of a sudden,
nice.
Overnight, she turns into a yuppie.
Yeah,
Like it's a disease.
It is, and
she is the last person I would expect for that to happen. Like,
and what is that supposed to say?
Right.
Is it supposed to like then give Andie like, oh, it's okay if I go out with this rich kid who I hate those people and they are against everything I stand for because her friend did it? That gives her like permission to do it in her own relationship.
You can do it. You don't have to completely change yourself to be in that relationship. Right. That's what I don't understand.
That's why it was great that Andie never did that and Blaine like loved her no matter what. And that's why Blaine loved her. But this is my problem with this movie, and basically a huge problem like with a lot of rom-coms or 80s ones and 90s. Let's say all rom-coms, and hopefully not in the future and kind of presently, but the old ones. I hate the thing where it's like guys do shitty things, they come back and say, I love you, and women are like, okay. I hate it more than anything. Right. All I want for this movie, like I said, I want it to be like, hey, dude, thanks for saying you're sorry, but I'm over you. Right. Like, it's not going to work out. You're a dick. And I'm going to go have fun with my friends and find someone who is never going to be a dick to me. Like, you shouldn't have to be a dick at all. Like, why do you even have to be a dick once? It should never happen. And I just hate that it's like, I just feel like there's very few times where it's reversed. Where there's some girl who's like some bitch, and then the guy's like, man, I love you. And he like runs back to her. I don't know. It just never happens.
Sex in the City? Like, that's the only thing that I like recall of it. But yeah, you're right. It's not flipped. Okay, here's another important question, though. Would you rather name your child Blaine or Steph?
I hate both of those names. I mean, talk about setting your kids up to be rapists. I mean, what is happening? I'm telling you, they are like probably like part of the Me Too movement. They have been found out by the Me Too movement. They have lost their jobs because they are Blaine and Steph. Like, fuck those people. It sucks. I can't believe there's a generation of people that are like that. I'm sorry if your name are either one of those. Like, you're probably a lovely person.
Yeah, I agree. So okay, I think that was my main important question. So okay, there's this other trope that happens a lot in movies that I don't. The mom leaving the family trope. I don't know if I get it.
Just watch one that had that?
I feel like we did, but like Little Giants had that. What happened to the mom in All the Boys I've Loved Before? She died? Okay. So it's like either they die or they leave the family. I just hate the parents leaving the family thing, especially the mother. I get it if you're like a crackhead and you're like into drugs and shit, but this mom seemed...
What is the other movie that's like that? The mom just like leaves them.
Coyote Ugly.
Or did she die?
No, she died.
10 Things I Hate About
10
You.
Things I Hate About You.
That's what it was.
She left us.
Okay, that is such a common trope. We just named four movies where that happened. Holy shit.
Like, I don't get it. Like, I get the deadbeat dad thing because it's like, I mean, they didn't carry the baby. Like, they were never around. They, like, couldn't deal with it. But at the same time, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I only buy this trope if the parent is troubled in some way that we see. Like, is an alcoholic, has a drug addiction, right? Yeah. That I would get because you're like, I can't deal with this. I have to leave. I don't care about you. I'm leaving. But like, these seem like normal parents, so I don't understand why it's happening. Like, oh, I can't handle this. Bye. Like, what?
Most thing that I struggle with that trope is that okay, I know why they do it, right? Because they want to set up these young girls who are like in high school. They're like the mom figure. They take care of their dad, you know, and like they have all the weight of their family on their shoulders. And it's like such a bullshit trope.
Yeah.
And then it like they have to like take care of their dad, and there's this like whole relationship with their dad. Oh, their dad is like so
What the
sad.
Why can't the dad take care of himself?
Again, where's the reverse in this situation? I mean, maybe the Karate Kid, Daniel's son, is like kind of helps his mom out, but like she still is like his mom.
She needs no, because she has to take responsibility and do all this shit for him because he's a boy.
Yeah, but it's like all these like dads that are basically like, it's almost like, it's like they can't have boyfriends because they're too busy taking care of their dumb like sad sack dad, and that's like the most bullshit trope ever.
Right. And this is doubly confusing because her sad sack dad, like, why is he a sad sack? Because he's misses her mom so much. Okay, whatever.
But like, why he can't get a job?
Right. I don't understand why he can't get a job. Is he a drunk? Why is he like? I think he's depressed. Is what it is. Yeah. Definitely depressed. He's like having trouble getting out of bed in the morning. Says he's going to do things, but like doesn't. He's obviously depressed, but it's just weird that they never really like talk about that part at all. You're just supposed to be like, he's sad because he misses her mom.
But then they do have that like one scene in the bedroom, and you're like, why is this here? Like, why do we like? What does this factor into the whole movie? And then she gets really upset because it's like, again, I think there's just like so much weight on her shoulders because she's trying to like take care of her dad, but like wants to take care of her life too. I don't know. That part was so weird. And that dad is like, I know that guy is like a great actor, but something is strange about that dad to me. I don't know why. Maybe it was the short bathrobe. I don't know.
You had an immediate reaction to that part, so I'm going to guess that it was that. But yeah, I thought he was sweet, and he's just like sad. He's just sad. He's just real sad. Yeah. So, what should we talk about next, sweetie? Is it the wig? Are we going to talk about the wig?
I don't know. I'm just going to like go down my notes because I think that's the easiest way for me to organize my thoughts. Okay, guys. I feel like this is like your classic John Hughes high school in a way, or a classic 80s high school in a way, right? You watch a lot of 80s movies, you're going to be like, okay, this is how the high school is. Fun fact about this high school, same high school that they used in the movie Grease. Interesting. Some of the outdoor shouts are like, we go together like...
Also, the school used in Hit Me Baby One More Time music video.
Who goes to that high school? I wonder where it is.
Everybody.
90210.
All the cool kids, apparently.
Okay, so classic 80s high school, right? You got the evil blondes. There's some evil blondes in this movie. Man, those girls are bitches.
And one kind of evil brunette who laughs at Andie's jokes.
Yeah.
So you're like, whose side are you on?
Right.
It's confusing.
Right. She's kind of like in this gray area. And it's the actress Gina Gershon, who's like so interesting looking.
She really is.
Who is a face like that?
No one. It's very horsey.
Yeah, but she's like beautiful. It's like very strange. Yeah. So then you have, in this case, you have the alternatives. The school basically felt like it was made up of alternative kids. So you had Andie's section, kind of punks, let's say. And then you had the yuppies and the blazers and the BMWs and like wore khakis
really just
and
two
suits
extremes.
and like slipper shoes all the time. I don't even know what was that. Blaine wore like slippers to shoes to school.
Are they loafers?
I don't know. They look like slippers. It's crazy. And then...
no black
what
people.
Else? No black people.
No minorities.
No minorities.
I think at all.
Yep.
So, which is like, is this LA? I don't know. Oh, wait, hold on. There's that scene where she's in the principal's office and she's like, it's like unbelievable that I'm here. Like I wouldn't get this opportunity normally. It's because of where she lives. Like she wasn't supposed to go to that school.
Interesting.
Because maybe it is only rich kids.
Oh.
And then alternative kids
Can go there.
who have rich parents. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just remember that scene now.
Yeah. Okay, next. I find it interesting in movies when they have these kids who aren't excited about prom, because I was like more excited about prom than like anything. Prom is so exciting. That's like and that's depending on who you are. Obviously, there's some kids who hate prom, don't like dances.
Carol did not go to her prom.
Don't feel included with the
She said it
school.
was not cool to go to prom when she was in high school.
Exactly. So I just find that interesting because like prom was like the highlight of our life. We were super excited about it, right?
Well, I think part of that is like pop culture, like the movies we saw, and like the like, oh, who's gonna be prom queen? They got to wear a pretty dress, yay!
Yeah.
So,
and we were pretty middle of the road. Like we weren't super popular, and we weren't total dorks. So we felt like right in the middle of like all those groups. So I think it was acceptable that we liked prom. Okay. Yeah, and then just to talk a little bit more about like the main characters. So, like we said, Steph played by
Spader.
James Spader. So interesting in this movie. I mean, first of all, he has this like tousled, like not even sort of like mini Farrah Fawcett like shag cut that's like perfectly cut, and he just like shakes his hair all the time. It's just like, oh, look at me like shaking my hair. Thing I hate the most about Steph is that he wears half unbuttoned shirts. Why would you wear a half unbuttoned shirt to school? I ask you.
Well, some people like unbutton the top of their shirt.
No, this is when you have a lot of chest hair and you like want to show.
He had a lot of chest hair, and it was super awkward because he still had the blazer on also.
Right, and he's wearing like linen suits to high school.
Yeah, why are we wearing linen suits to high school?
He has a velour bathrobe when, like, in his house when like he's talking to Blaine.
in his study, you mean?
His study with like the red like plush velvet like seat. What is going on in that guy's world? It's so weird. So crazy. And then you have Duckie, like we said. The main thing I remember about Duckie from when I was a little kid were those shoes. Which is that why he's called Duckie? The dirty duck shoes?
Why are they dirty duck shoes?
I don't know.
Why are they? Because he like puts his feet out like that? I thought it was because he looked like a duck.
Does he look like a duck?
A little bit.
So.
He's a little ducky.
I thought it was the shoes.
Maybe.
He's like, remember when he like he's all dressed up for prom? He's like, but I will always be the duck man. He like points down to those feet with those shoes and then makes this like little duck.
But he was wearing different shoes at the beginning. He was wearing like Converse, dirty. His shoes are just always dirty. I think
he lives in a crack house. They have the one shot of him in his bedroom and his mattress is on the floor. He has like one chair in his room and like a lamp with like no shade next to him.
And graffiti on the wall. It's like, totally a crack house.
Does he live in a crack house? I mean, you never see his parents or talk about his parents either.
I don't see anyone's parents. It's very confusing. I don't believe parents exist in this town.
World.
Except for poor sad sack.
Or there's the Annie Potts character that's like kind of a parent, but she's more like a mentor, I guess. And so Annie Potts, first of all, as we've talked about, like with Whoopi Goldberg, let's say, or Bette Midler, scene stealers. Every time that person is on scene, like that's all you want to look at.
Bette Midler?
Well, I just listened to the Hocus Pocus one that we talked about then. So
I think
we talked about it 2 years ago.
She's supposed to be the scene stealer. She's the star.
She's the divine Miss M. So yeah, Annie Potts, so fucking cool. So what's funny about this character is that she is a different look every time, almost an unrecognizable look. So it's so exciting when you know she's going to be on camera because you're like so excited to see what she's dressed like. And they have a way of like hiding her each time. So it's like she's like behind like a door.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she's like it's so interesting. So she's a different look every time, which I love. And like Sweetie said, there's one sort of like cultural appropriation one with like Asian cultural stuff, which like does she live above a Chinese food restaurant though?
I think she lives in like Chinatown.
Yeah, she lives in Chinatown,
Koreatown or something.
But she's so interesting. But like Sweetie said at the end, so the whole time, so she's like a real punk one time. Has sort of the Asian influence with like a blonde wig and like a kimono, and like she does this like eye makeup that makes her like eyes look slanty. She dresses in her old prom dress and like whips up a beehive. There's one where she has this like Spanish hat with like the little whatever that thing, that net that like covers your hair.
Bondage, dominatrix.
Yeah, but you never really know like what she actually looks like until the end when she's with Terrence and changes into a country club blazer and pearls and like a little like off-white beige skirt or whatever. And that's kind of like what she really looks like. Doesn't have a lot of makeup on. And you're like, oh no, like she's a totally different person.
It's really messed up.
Why did they do that?
But I know. Well, I know. That's why I was so upset about it. Fucking Terrence. Is he all that? I don't think so. I think she got desperate and she was like, it's either Duckie or Terrence. So she picked Terrence. I think that's how it went down. But
yeah, I mean, none of the men in this movie have any personality like whatsoever except Duckie, and Duckie. He gets friend zoned. So it's sad.
And he's gay. So it's like, I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's why he has personality, because he's awesome.
Yeah.
But is Annie Potts is still with us, right?
Yeah.
Where is she? What is she doing? What happened?
Yeah, I haven't seen her.
What happened to Annie? What happened?
I just love her.
Why is we need more? We need more Annie.
Yeah.
We got Annie. We don't got Annie.
We don't got Annie, guys.
But yeah, that's all I had to say about that.
What
else is
have
on
to
your
say
list?
about
Your
that?
list of topics.
Fun fact, sad fact.
Yep.
The girl who played Jenna, who is like Andie's best friend in this.
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
We only see her like twice.
For like 2 scenes.
Is it 'cause
But
spoiler.
so right before the movie premiered, she was found murdered in her New York apartment. They still haven't figured out who did it.
They still haven't figured out who did it.
Unsolved mystery.
It's probably James Spader.
Yeah. It's so sad,
Oh
right?
man.
Awful. So they dedicated
That
this
was
movie
a
to
strange
her.
character. I just remember now. Yeah, she had like a best friend who like she only saw twice.
Yeah.
What happened to that friend?
I don't know.
Isn't
Well,
Duckie her best friend?
Yeah.
This is like her best girlfriend.
She didn't go to the club with her ever, did she? Oh, no, she did once in the beginning,
Yeah.
right? She went to like that
And
bar
why are we
they
going
go
to clubs? What is this bar they're going to? What is happening?
Well, it could be 18 plus
Then why wouldn't they let Duckie in?
because he's not 18.
He's not.
His birthday's in August.
Oh.
I don't know, I'm making it up.
Oh. You little trickster.
I
God.
know.
What else? Anything?
No, that's all I got
Okay.
for fun facts. Look who it is. Is that the segment I usually say? No.
Hey, it's that guy. Or-
Hey, it's that guy. Or hey, it's that girl. Christy Swanson as a little chubette.
Hey. Yeah.
She's called,
I didn't.
in the credit. She's called like a duckette or something.
Oh yeah. That's funny. She's like makes eyes at Duckie and is like, "Hey, you're cute." Yeah, she's kind of unrecognizable.
Yeah. She must have been really young. I guess like so she's in that funny scene in Ferris. Oh, so
But
Ferris
she
Bueller
looks
must
like
have been
herself in Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller must have been before this then.
Yeah.
Because she was in Ferris Bueller. Maybe she gained weight.
I think it was the same year. I think it was wasn't it 86 too?
Wasn't it?
85?
Yeah, maybe 85.
I don't know.
So she's in Ferris Bueller, and John Hughes like loved her part in that because remember it's the part like, my brother's friend, best friend's cousin told me that like Ferris is like sick with the kidney disease or whatever he has. It's pretty funny. So good to see her. She really thinned out. And then Buffy was like what? Like 10 years later though? No? 7? 90 early 90s was Buffy?
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Let's
Yeah.
plow. I just have that on my notes. And then, do you want to talk about the wig?
Finally. I thought you'd never ask. Okay, so Sweetie points out she's fond of. She reads the whole IMDb trivia before the movie starts, or like in the beginning. So she's aware. She's hip to all the stuff.
It's hip
So-
to be square.
She informs me that during this prom scene, this is a scene where they have Andrew McCarthy wearing a wig, and I was like, what? And then they like flash to Andrew McCarthy, and he's wearing the worst wig I've ever seen in my life.
Gotta get a still
It is
of that.
dark brown, first of all, which is like you couldn't even bother to match his normal hair
And it's
color.
funny because I wrote a note in this like that Andrew McCarthy is pretty adorable! ! Nice head of hair. So he really has a beautiful, natural, nice head of hair in this, but because they did the reshots at the end, he was already on another project, which tends to happen, and because that happened in Top Gun, remember?
Yes, I do remember.
Kelly McGillis had like dyed her hair.
Not Kenny McGinnis.
Yes,
Kelly
McGillis.
McGinnis.
Thank you. So same thing. So I guess he like shaved his head or cut it really short, and he didn't have that like those lovely like Adonis locks anymore. So like, here's the best wig we can find. And he lost weight too, so he looked really sick.
He looked like a cancer patient, and the way that you can definitely tell it's wig is that it is floating off of the back of his head. I see it in the back of the head. Oh, and the back of it is like there's like a space between his hair and his skin, and you're like, that is a wig.
And it's one of those things where like if someone didn't tell you, like I never noticed it when I was watching this.
I mean, like,
If someone didn't tell you, you wouldn't know. But once someone tells you, you can't not know. Like it's
does Tina
very
Turner
apparent.
wear a wig?
Yes.
That's a wig.
Now, whenever I see Tina Turner, I'm like, shit, that's a wig, and you cannot know.
I know.
Right? I just want to unknow it sometimes.
It's like before you find out I thought there was an arrow in the FedEx logo. You can never unsee it.
What?
You never know this? Oh yeah, between like the X and the D. What is it? I don't know. I'll show you later.
Dang.
Yep. Now it's
Whole new
ruined.
world.
You'll never see it differently. But yeah, that scene hilarious.
Funny.
We were like
We'll have to-
peeing
we'll
our
find
pants.
a still of
Oh
it,
my
and
God,
hopefully we
it's
can.
so
Maybe we can do a
funny.
side by side from like the real hair and the wig.
Just like
It's the wrong color. How
it's
could
the
they
wrong
not get it the right
color.
color?
And he just like looks so like shh. shabby. And like that scene's funny too because he's like all depressed by himself at prom. He's like, guess I'll just sit at this table and drink a Coke by myself and mope. Like, so okay,
like
I think
poster
now
boy
is
for
the time you should go on your rant about how much you hate Blaine. Have you already done that?
Oh, I thought I did.
Oh.
No?
I don't know. I guess you did.
Yeah.
This whole okay. So like the whole movie, you guys, Sweetie was like, he is the worst. I hate him so much, and like going on and on and on about like it was like every time he was on the screen, pretty much, right? You were like, I hate him so much, and it was just getting worse and worse. And I thought it was pretty funny.
I mean, do you agree? Like, he's such a sad sack. And again, I hate the trope where it's like, awesome woman, like she's so independent and she's such a free spirit and like so great. And then the guy she likes is like the biggest drip ever.
You know?
You're like, shouldn't that person be evenly matched with someone with like a great personality? Which does make sense, like why then people would be like, oh, she should get with Duckie. But she didn't like Duckie.
Because he's gay. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I just think they could have picked a better Blaine. He just did not. He had no charisma. He had nothing.
Blame it on Molly. It's Molly's fault. It's Molly Ringwald's fault. She had to pick this loser.
Such a weirdo.
Yeah. Good times. So obviously, Molly Ringwald was part of the Brat Pack. Who else was technically in the Brat Pack, Sweetie?
Was it just all the people in the Breakfast Club, or is it a wider
I think
net?
there's more because I think Demi Moore and like Rob
Lowe
Demi
was
Moore
in it.
and Rob Lowe were in it too. Where I'm like, what movie were they in?
St. Elmo's
St.
Fire.
Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen before.
Me neither.
Is it about a ship? What is it about?
It's about high school, isn't it?
Why is it called that? St. Elmo's Fire is like when there's like, isn't it like on there's like a spark?
We're going to get yelled at if we keep talking about that because it's going to be someone's favorite movie and they'll be like, why the fuck haven't you seen that? We'll watch it, guys. We'll watch it.
Is it
That'll
about
be a
a
good one for
fire?
both of us because
Is
like.
it about a fire?
Wait, that's the one. Is that the one with Phoebe Cates in a red bikini?
No.
That's Ridgemont?
Yeah, I think that's Fast Times.
Okay. See, I confuse. Is
she in the Brat
Is
Pack?
Judge Nelson in that one?
Judd. No, Judge is...
Judge from Vice Versa.
Yeah, I know. Well, would you?
Damn it.
We can never remember his last name. Judge Reinhold. Oh, man.
Judd Nelson is in. He's probably part of the Brat Pack too. He's in Breakfast Club.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's definitely in the Brat Pack. I think. I don't know.
Was he in other movies though? There's probably a lot of people in the
I'm
Brat
gonna
Pack.
look it up. I gotta look up who's actually in the Brat Pack.
So while you're doing that, I'm gonna take some time to do two throwback stories. One, let's talk about prom. Prom is so fun, guys. Like we said, like so exciting. And like in our high school, you only had senior prom. You could go to senior prom if you were asked by a upperclassman. So I got to go my junior year. Unfortunately, I had to go with this guy named Grandpa. His nickname was Grandpa because he drooled. Why did I go out with him? It was sad.
Because you wouldn't have been able to go to the prom any other way.
So it was a horrible prom. I ended up like sort of ditching him after and like hang out with these other kids instead. I felt bad about it for a long time, but I just was not into him. And then my senior year, I had like a real date. This guy I was like sort of dating. I forget if I told this story or not before, but like my date had like a horrible stomachache. Turns out he like shit his pants on prom night. Flushed his boxers down the toilet, and then the house we were partying at clogged the one bathroom that we were all downstairs in this basement like partying. We couldn't go to the bathroom there anymore. We had to like sneak through my parents' bedroom while they were sleeping, and like everyone's going up there because they have to pee because we're all drinking and stuff. The next day, like the guy pulls out these like shitty boxers, like clogging the toilet. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah, but you didn't know it was him until like way later.
And I didn't find out till like 5 years later that it was my date because we had blamed it on this kid who didn't go to our school.
But how did you find out it was your date?
I forget.
I think we're just still going off of assumptions here. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think we know for sure, but we did like some deductive reasoning because what happened was we all went swimming the next day.
Oh, right.
Who didn't go swimming? All the guys went swimming in their boxers. Who didn't go swimming? My date. Because he probably didn't have boxers because he had flushed them down the toilet. Anyways,
great.
That's my prom story.
okay.
I wore a really cute red dress. I
It was
loved my outfit.
gorgeous.
I was obsessed with it.
Gorgeous.
How was your prom?
So I went to prom. My good prom was my junior year when I went with my boyfriend, who was a senior, and that was really amazing. And I felt really special. And we got like a Hummer limo. It was pretty cool. I just felt really cool. I felt like
Your
a
dress
cool
looked
person.
like Belle.
I
Belle's
got
from
a
Beauty and the
yellow
Beast.
dress because it was like I was like life goal, right, to be Belle. Senior year, like I had already done the prom thing. I feel like I didn't need to like do it
Your boyfriend
again.
was in college.
He was in college, and I felt like he would be mad if I went with a boy. So I was like, I'll take my best friend Jillian, and that was fun. But I had a cold. I don't know. So my senior prom like wasn't the best, but like whatever. But yeah, I mean like nothing really eventful. Although, never mind. I don't want to tell that story. So the Brat Pack. Ready? The Brat Pack is a nickname given to a group of young actors who frequently appeared together in teen-oriented coming-of-age films in the 1980s.
Why are you
all different
adopting
accents?
this accent?
So we got Emilio Estevez,
Check.
Anthony Michael Hall,
Check.
Rob
I
Lowe.
never remember that guy's name.
It's hard. We called
him
Michael Anthony Hall, or no.
Who's
Whoever
that other
Dexter
guy?
is.
Yeah.
Michael C. Hall.
Yes. So we call him like the entire Breakfast
and
Club
Ryan
podcast.
was so mad.
Yep.
Sorry,
Whoops.
Ryan. Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore, Judd Nelson.
Oh my God. Got it.
Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy. Absence from most lists is Mayor Whittingham. Who the fuck is that?
What was she in?
She's like somebody's mom in something.
Yeah. She's in a lot of moms now.
I don't know. But that's stupid. That's a dumb inclusion. Yeah.
That's the Brat Pack.
That's the Brat Pack.
So they were just like in a bunch
They
of
were
80s
just in a
movies
bunch
as
of
kids.
80s movies.
Good
usually
one.
together. What else? But was Demi Moore in anything else besides St. Elmo's Fire? Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to look up.
Why?
What is St. Elmo's Fire? I know it's like it's like a natural phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a star that looks like fire. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very curious about that. Okay. St. Elmo's Fire is a weather phenomena in which luminous plasma is created by a coronal discharge from a sharp, or
Sounds really technical.
or pointed object in a strong electric field in the atmosphere. I don't get it.
Me neither. Is that supposed to be like their hormones and they create like
Probably.
something?
That's probably what it means.
I just remember that song from that movie.
What's the song? St. Elmo's Fire!
Something, it's like that. It's like this guy.
It's not.
Play it. It's crazy.
No, first
It's
I'm
like
going
the
to show
most
you.
80s song
First I'm going to show you
ever.
the arrow in the FedEx. See? Do you see it? It's pointing to the right. It's in the white space.
Whoa! It's like a magic eye.
Now you'll never unsee it. All right. Now, what do you want me to play? St. Elmo's Fire?
Oh my God. It's the most like 80s song
It better be
you've ever
just like I
heard.
sang it. I'm going to be upset if it's not as cool. St. Elmo's Fire!
It's like so close to that. See? Pretty close. You probably like subconsciously heard it one time.
I think so. I don't think I've ever heard that song. That's hilarious. Oh my God, I love it.
That's not the movie we're covering, by the way, guys. But we're going to have to watch that.
Should be.
Awesome.
For sure.
Okay, I want to round out a movie about crushes, about our own crushes. So, this is what this movie really reminds me of, how fun it is to have crushes in high school, which we've talked about, I think, in other podcasts.
Who had a crush?
that,
She just like saw him one time and was like, he's cute.
But she was so excited about him, and that like
Yeah.
sense when you're like, you don't know if it's going to happen, and like basically your like dream comes true, and that really like doesn't happen as you get older that much, which is so sad. So if you're in high school right now, I don't know why you'd be listening to this podcast, but if you are, get some crushes in high school because you're probably like not going to be able to have them anymore. And I just watched, speaking of crushes, All the Boys That I Loved Before, which was recommended to me by Sweetie. And I read the book too. And Sweetie recommended it to me because it was like, she said it just reminded her how much fun it was to like have a crush and those feelings of like liking boys and stuff like that. And I totally agree. I recommended that for all the gals or guys. Guys who like it too. It's an adorable story. But let's talk about our own crushes.
I mean, I feel like I've talked about mine before. His name was Tristan Cope. I wrote him Selena, I'll Be Dreaming of You as a poem and gave it to his friend to give to him. Great. Good. I mean,
That was your entire high school one?
Oh, no. That was just middle school. Please. I've had several crushes. I think most of high school I probably had a crush on Jake Yashin. Unreciprocated. And then I met my boyfriend, and then that was like my crush.
And that was the end of your crush.
I know. It's so sad.
Because I still had him in college.
Oh, wait.
I had,
And then and Ben Woods, who was like
oh, okay.
in college when I was in high
Oh,
school.
okay. Yeah, yeah. I had them up through college because I had unreciprocated love, like it was my job, like going out of business. But my main one was from 8th grade to 12th grade. Liam Mulaney, I think I mentioned before. Hey, Liam. Man, biggest crush. I used to make music videos in my head to Robin, Show Me Love.
Show me love.
Show me life.
Show me Liam.
I can like still remember the song. I remember when he started going out with my best friend in 8th grade instead of me. And I listened to like Matchbox 20 Push in the back of like the car. Like we were driving to the mall or something. And I was just like.
Wait, how does that song go again?
I want to push you away now. Well, I will. Well, I will. I want to push you down. So good. I can't even listen to that song without crying. It's like it's too much for me.
Is that the general? What is that song supposed to be about?
Oh, just because I listened to that song, like when those feelings were happening, it just like reminded me of that.
Right.
Yeah, and then a little bit later, I had a crush on this guy named Alex Corcoran, and that turned into like stalker crush.
Man.
Though. Went
That's the best kind.
It really is. I mean, I turned like full on Felicity for that guy.
Sweetie, did you go to your college?
Literally 75% of the reason I went to the college that I did was because this kid went there. Stalker levels, guys. And then I got rejected immediately, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was like, okay, he doesn't like me, move on.
Wait,
and
did
really
you ask him out? What do you mean you got rejected?
No, I danced with him at a frat party, and then I tried to kiss him, essentially rape him on the dance floor, and he pushed me away.
You never told me
Then I
this.
ran out. It was like raining outside, and I like ran out into like they had this like hill outside the frat, and I just like was on this hill, and it was like raining, and I was like,
unbelievable.
I cried, and then I picked myself up and I walked myself home, and then we were just friends after.
I thought you never told him.
You know, that's like really the best way
time
to get over crushes just to be like outright rejected. Because I was like, you know what, this is never gonna happen.
There you go.
And I just needed him to tell me that, and he did basically.
Very healthy.
So,
Healthy.
Yeah, and then I had a couple more in college, but those did end up being reciprocated, so that was nice.
In the butt.
Yeah. Sometimes. No. It was a mistake. Went in the wrong hole.
You didn't need to go into details.
Yes, don't drink in college. This is what'll
Jeez.
happen. So if you want if you miss having crushes and want to relive that time, recommend that. All the Boys I've Loved Before, now on Netflix.
But yeah, good times. Yeah, we thought it was time to do another John Hughes-ish movie. So, you know, I know you guys like them and stuff, but like, I don't know if I like them.
Yeah, I know. I think that's what like. We've heard so much great feedback about you guys loving John Hughes movies, which we totally agree, and they are great movies in many, many ways. For us, I don't think we're as big of fans as other people, so I'm sorry if you don't agree with some of the stuff that we're saying, but that's just how we feel.
We didn't watch them as much when we were little, so they weren't to me, the like Empire Records is closer to like the movie that like
we were just too young, and we just watched them too far gone past the time. I think we weren't like in that moment of this mid 80s time. So yeah, once we start covering, I feel like 90s ones will be like a little bit more like in that groove with those. Maybe
we've covered a lot of 90s.
Yeah,
movies.
and I think we have been a little bit better into that groove of our feelings for those. So it's interesting to see these like generational, you know, how the generations play out and what movies you like and which ones like really stick with you. Yeah, for us, that's an ixnay on John Hughes.
Sorry. Anyways, but thanks for hanging out with us and for listening to this awesome episode.
Sorry I talked about butt sex,
Sorry
Mom.
we played St. Elmo's Fire for 2 minutes.
Maybe we'll edit that part.
No.
St. Elmo's Fire. Can't wait to jam that in the car.
Exciting.
Our new car.
Woo! So you can find us on Twitter at The Sweetie Club or on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us. Thank you, as always, for listening. Bye.
Bye.